They can launch strong.
Welcome you on the show. 360 Sport on Trust TV. Adeni Ajishafe. What a match there between Rangers International and Lobby Stars. What a match in the MPFA match day 14 in the midweek. And all the teams really participated except for Eyimba and versus Sunshine due to Eyimba's involvement in CAF Confederation. We'll be looking at that, the MPFL games that were played yesterday across Nigeria. And also UEFA Champions League, big one, a lot of shocking moments. Well, for Real Madrid, they really need to get Vini Junior back. Well, what a match there. For Manchester City, even though they drew against Feyenoord, it still continues because right now they seem not to be getting their acts together. All this coming on the show while we quickly start from the MPFL where we look at the first story. Nasarawa United returns to winning ways as Remo Stars secure derby victory. That's a big one there between Remo Stars and Shooting Stars of Ibadan, where they were able to defeat Shooting Stars, the traditional team when it comes to MPFL. But right now, Remo Stars are like the digital team, and they really did well defeating them. And also, Nasarawa United are back to winning ways after losses actually coming to them. But this time around, it's good for them. The solid miners are now back to winning, and hopefully they will sustain it by making sure they continue to win games in the MPFL. A lot of matches that were played across Nigeria. We look at Ikorodu City really mounting lots of activities when it comes to MPFL. They are really doing well. And also we look at other teams that play well during the match day 14. Let's look at the result of matches played that's in the midweek of MPFL. Abia Warriors, they did well. They won against Katsina United 2-0. Plateau United lost against Akwa United by a long goal. Bayelsa United, what a match. They defeated Niger Tornadoes over there at Samson Siadia Stadium in Nagoa 4-1. That Ladamboso boys did against Niger Tornadoes. Enugu Rangers against Lobby Stars, fantastic performance from Enugu Rangers, while Ikorodu City defeated El Kanemi 2-0 to silence them. Kora United, it was a peeping coming from them against Heartland, as Bende Insurance lost by 2-1 at the Lafayette Township Stadium, where they won that game 2-1. Remo Stars 2, Shooting Stars 0. It was a derby from the Southwest, while you look at Sunshine Stars versus Rivers United. What a match there that actually ended 1-1, although Eyimba versus Kano Pillars rather was postponed due to their involvement in CAF Confederation. The result of the games played yesterday across Nigeria. For Sunshine Stars against Rivers, Rivers really were able to pick a point in an away game. And you look at all the teams that played, fantastic performance from all the home teams. They were able to do well except for Sunshine, who shared the sport in that particular encounter there. No away win throughout match day 14. About 8 home wins for all the teams that play at home. Bayelsa United scored 4, although they considered 1 for Enugu Rangers. They showed their class. Ikorodu City also showed class as Remo Stars did against their arch rival Shooting Stars of Ibadan. Well, joining us from Kaduna, we have Joseph Peter that will be joining us to talk about the MPFL. It's getting better, but shoe way get size. That's Lobby Stars, your team. What happened to the size of their shoe? Joseph.
Good morning, and thank you for having. Good morning, and thank you for having me. It's really, really pathetic. You know, I was actually optimistic that they are getting out of the relegation zone match day, and only for them to go back plummeting into the relegation zone deeper again. So it's really very, very sad to see where we are now and how they are struggling. But you know, this is football. It happens. It's happening to Man City. It happened to Real Madrid yesterday. So who is Lobby Stars that it cannot happen to them?
Mm-hmm. I like the way you're trying to at least console yourself. Who is Lobby Stars? But Lobby Stars are Lobby Stars. At least they call their shoe way size, right? So what happened to the size of their shoe, like I asked you? But something must be done, because I saw a particular fan of Lobby Stars carrying the placard saying they want Amokachi out after how many games? Maybe they just have to be patient enough to see what they can achieve. So far, he has been able to manage to win 2 games, and it has been a very, very bad moves for Amokachi so far for now. Even with his Finnish coach, it's not going well with Lobby Stars.
It is not going well with Lobby Stars, and you can't really put the blame on Amokachi right now, because everything started even before him, right? He was supposed to come and turn things around. He just hasn't been able to do it. But then, if you look at it and critically, and you consider all the managerial, politics that happen when it comes to football. If it were not Amokachi, would he have lasted this long? That's another question again that we need to ask ourselves. He has been given a long rope already, although he has won 2 matches. But then, Lobista is not exactly out of where they want to get out of, which is the relegation zone, right? But then you don't expect him to actually go and get the maximum point away. So that's another thing to consider again. So for me, I think I am of the opinion that he should be given ample time, maybe till mid-season, to see what he has been able to achieve before anything or any drastic decision can be taken.
Okay, we're talking about Lobby Stars. They are among the teams that actually lost on match day 14. The MPFL midweek games that were played across Nigeria on Wednesday. Right now, we look at the result. Let's digress a bit. While we talk about the result, we go back to talk about the MPFL so that we can have a glimpse of some of the matches played. Well, let's look at how the games actually went down. For match day 14, it's getting better, but that almost mentality is really going off. Match day 14 seems to be all the home teams were really tightened. They tightened their belts and they did well by winning all the games except for Sunshine, who shared the spoil against Rivers United. So match day 14 home teams were really ready for the games.
Home teams were very rampant. You would agree with me that if you look at it, or maybe when it comes to performance, the home teams are actually kind of better than they used to. They are actually doing better like they used to, not that they used to. So it is an expected win for most of the home teams. And yeah, you don't expect Rivers not to pick point. Rivers are top form right now. They are doing it really hard in the Premier League, and they're actually one of the best, or one of the contenders, one of those league come the end of the season. So of course, I'm not surprised. We are not surprised by the point that they were able to get away.
Okay, talking about not being surprised there. Well, for the match day 14, a lot of activities that happened, but fantastic performance from all the home teams. They held down the day by making sure they win. Well, match day 15 might not be as easy because we've seen the various weeks where the visitors came visiting, picked the maximum point, and also at least put some salt in the mouth of the home teams. Now, considering the MPFL match day 14, a quick touch on the tables where things are going back to the way it used to be. Remo Stars are not really giving up at all. They are still trying to see how they can maintain the top of the table. Now they are back to it again after match day 14 with 26. Although on goal difference are held, even though they have the same goal difference, but being that if we look at all the mathematics put in place, Remo Stars are back to the top, and you have Rivers United trailing them. And you look at Rangers, who won against Lobby Stars convincingly. They have 23 points. The big boys are really setting themselves. El Kanemi Warriors standing for. They are not ready to drop at all. Ikorodu City have really shocked everyone. They started so badly, but now the top five. Eyimba, well, they have 2 games at hand to play. And you have Kwara United, Kano Pillars, who are yet to play their game. So if they are able to win that game, you know where they will be. Extra 3 points plus 19. Niger Tornadoes, well, they have 18. And Shooting Stars of Ibadan, despite that loss, still among the top 10, having 18 points. Let's look at it first before we go to the bottom of the table. Joseph, you want to agree with me that El Kanemi Village show their class? They seem to be acting like Girona of this world in Spanish, La Liga, Aston Villa of this world in Premier League and all that. So seriously, they are doing well.
And what's even so amazing is the fact that they actually lost their last game. So they lost a game and they are still maintaining that position. Now I'm really interested in seeing how they would end the season. Not just El Kanemi, but I'm looking at the both of them, the two teams, or the 2 clubs that played this midweek, which is Ikorodu United and Kano and El Kanemi. I'm actually looking at where they would end. I'm expecting to see them end at the top side of the table, at the very top side of it. But worst come to worst, they shouldn't be below the top 10 when it comes to the end of the season. So I'm really hopeful for them, and hopefully a confederation place, or maybe even a Champions League position. Who knows? But the way they are going about it and the way they are doing it, I just hope that they don't become another Doma my darling Doma team of last season. So that's just what I pray for them to be able to achieve.
Okay, if you look at this table, it's actually making me feel like the way EPL is right now. Remo Stars, maybe I should choose them as the Liverpool, Rivers as Man City, and Enugu Rangers going for Chelsea and all that. The three teams rather, the clubs, both 1, 2, 3 seems to really they are really very ready for this. Although not counting El Kanemi or Ikorodu City out, that Eyimba too, you know how experienced they can be. But if you look at the way the table is right now, Remo Stars, Rivers United, Enugu Rangers, including Eyimba, just have to watch out for those 4 teams this season, including Kano Pillars too. The traditional top tier teams are really very, very strong this season, including Shooting Stars too, among the top 10.
Yeah, you were speaking about the EPL and the top 3. Actually, you shouldn't mention Chelsea for any reason. Just mention Arsenal. Then let's move on to the NPFL.
Okay,
Aside Remo Stars, Rivers, and Remo Stars, Rivers, and Enugu Rangers. I'm thinking that El Kanemi Warriors and Ikorodu United may not be able to keep up with the pace of the league. When it gets tougher. So I'm expecting Kano Pillars to join up there. Yeah, and Eyimba. So the usual culprits that are always topping the league. They are the ones that I'm expecting. Excluding the ones that are the rock bottom already, the likes of Aqua and Ruby. They are the ones that usually used to make up the numbers. But right now they are not where they want to be. They are not at their races. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, when the league comes to the end, you would be seeing the usual culprits like the Remo, the Eyimba, the Kano Pillars, Enugu Rangers, and Rivers United. One of them should be able to pick up the trophy at come the end of the season.
Well, it's getting so tough with the MPFL match day 14. Well, 24 matches to play, still a marathon. Let's look at the bottom of the table and look at how some teams are really wallowing behind. Well, you look at Abia Warriors, Heartland, Sunshine, Bayelsa United, Sunshine Stars, Katsina United in that pecking order. But for Lubi, Nasarawa, they are up a bit now. They're standing 18. At least match day 13, they were standing 20. But now it's Lubi Stars, Bende Insurance. What's happening to those big teams?
Like I said, football happens. Football is happening to them because last season they were one of the best. They were 2 of the best at least in the league, if you ask me. But then look where they are this season now. As if you have to really, really turn it around. But that is very, very difficult. It's actually a lot easier for a club that is known to be at the rock bottom of the league, or at least the negative side of the league, to actually try to come up. It's a lot easier for them than for the ones who are used to winning. Suddenly it's not as it used to be. Suddenly they find themselves in a position where they've never been before. It's a lot more difficult. Why? Because the pressure is actually different. The pressure is on another level. If it were a small team, they would manage it. Everybody would go on life like nothing happened. But then this is low distance we are talking about. This is Bendel Insurance we're talking about. They were very much competing last season, but look where they are now. So that is football, and that's why we love it.
Now, if you look at 11 and 12, the team from the southeast, that's the Oriental Brothers, Abia Warriors, and Heartland. Even though, yes, we know that Eyimba is up, but you look at the 2 of them, they seem to be close, 18, 17, a -3 goals. Then you look at a -1, but if you check it very well, Abia Warriors, they have an edge of that point. And then you look at the 2 teams trying to see how they can move up to join the big boys up there. While you look at Bayelsa United, Sunshine Stars, Katsina United, Plateau United, in the middle of the bottom table, let me use that word, and the Aqua United too. South teams, you look at Aqua United, Bende Insurance, not getting it too right, and then Bayelsa United seems to be the one that is up among them, standing 13th on the log. Sunshine Stars, well, the team from Akure are standing 14th. Then in the North Central, Plateau United, Nasarawa United, Lubi Stars, except for Katsina, Kwara, who is above among the top 10. So right now, South, North Central football clubs are really finding it difficult to be able to be among the top teams.
Yeah, they are finding it difficult to be there because they are not, doing the right thing. If you have the right set of group, including a good management that is handling things well and training is being done proper and the right players are being selected and the right formation is being given and executed on the pitch of play, you would be at the top of the league. There is nothing, about it. There is nothing so difficult about it. It is not rocket science that when it comes to game of football, it has to be a blend of good management, good playing staff, and then good tactics. As far as I'm concerned, it's not something major that we need to worry about and start thinking, oh, okay, the North Central are the South. This no, I don't think it's down to that. I think it's all down to good management, good coaching, and good execution of the tactics on the pitch of play. And whoever does that, no matter where they come from, they will be at the top of the Premier League.
Well, from the way it is right now, looking at the MPFL matchday 14 table, Lobby Stars actually considered 8 goals right now when it comes to the goal difference. All the goals they score minusing, they're actually removing the one they actually score against them, and you look at what they have there. For Bende Insurance, they need to up their antics, having 12 points from 14 games. It's not for Bende Insurance that we used to know. Maybe because their coach left, Monday Odigi actually has left Bende Insurance. From the MPFL, let's talk about our team that traveled to Egypt to play in the CAF Confederations Cup. It wasn't so good for them. They lost that game by 2-0. Talking about Eyimba International in the CAF Confederations Cup, the second tier of CAF Interclub competition. Eyimba stumbled as Amadas Doubles gives Al Masry victory. It was a 2-0 victory for that's Al Masry of Egypt. That game didn't go well with Eyimba International. Well, hopefully the second leg will favor them, although it's a group stage and it's a tough one right now. They're actually playing against 2 North African teams, and we know the way the North African teams play when it comes to anything sport. They don't joke with it at all. They throw in a lot of antics. And right now, Zamalek is also in this group, and we have Black Bulls from Mozambique who will also be joining them. So 2 have to qualify. So it's a big battle, group of death as it has been tagged, and a touch on the, you have Group D, where right now, despite it's just match day 1, you can see that Eyimba really needs to do well if they are to win and qualify from this group. But before we actually touch on the table, let's talk about this game. Eyimba 2-0 they lost against Al Masry. Joseph.
Eyimba lost against Al Masry. Really, I wasn't happy with that loss. But then I think about it and I'd be like, okay, this is not your vintage Eyimba. This is not the Eyimba that we used to know, really. Because if you look at where they are in the league and how far they have come so recently, you would not be so confident. Because as far as I'm concerned, Al Masry is not, the best or one of the at least 3 of the best teams in Egypt, as far as I'm concerned. But there they go defeating our supposedly biggest club in Nigeria. 2-0, even if it's away. I don't like that. I don't like that goal, that score line. They should have gotten a goal back to give themselves at least some chance of getting at them when the return leg comes into play. But then it is what it is. They need to pick up themselves. They need to perform better, plan better, and then perform better. You agree with me, so that they will be able to survive this.
Well, seriously, a tough one for Eyimba. If you actually touch on how Group D is standing, well, because of that loss now, it's not going well. But maybe until they pick up the piece from their next game, Eyimba is actually down there. Zamalek, they also won their game against Black Bulls of Mozambique. So both Black Bulls and Eyimba are having 0-0 on the point. And you look at the games, both of them actually won 2-0 by the margins. And you see the way they've started now. It's going to be a very tough one for Black Bulls and Eyimba, if you agree with me, Joe.
Very, very tough one. When it comes to the game of the group stages of any football competition, it is very, very paramount that you get to do well in your first game, because that kind of sets the pace for whatever you're going to do. When you win your first game, or at least you pick a draw when you are away, then you give yourself a chance of survival. But right now, mounts a lot of pressure on you, knowing fully well that your next game you have no choice but to win it. That pressure alone is another thing entirely. Aside the fact that you have to go ahead and, on a normal day and win a football match, the pressure, the awareness that okay, this next match I'm going to play, I have to win it, is a different ball game entirely. And it's not every kind of player that you see has the ability to handle or has a mentality to actually handle this kind of situation. So they are putting themselves in a very difficult situation, and they have to find a way to get themselves out of it by winning the next two matches straight up without dropping points. That is the only way they can cancel whatever negativity that may have been following them or would be following them, subsequently until they win a match.
Well, it's going to be a very tough one for Enyimba. Well, because we know that Zamalek, Al Masri, even when they come to your home, they always find a way to want to make sure they play draw and then go back home and win. And now they've started by winning and they want to come back here and hold us down. Well, Enyimba just have to show the experience. How did they do it those years, 2003, 2004, by going back and get those clips out, watch them and go back to the CAF Confederation and see if they can be able to at least give us more grace, because if they are able to do well in this competition, the coefficient and point for African teams, rather Nigerian teams in CAF competitions, actually go higher a bit. So we need that slot. I really need to maintain it. It's dropping every time, and now MPF organizer needs to do a lot to see how anytime Nigerian league or rather clubs qualify for CAF inter-club competition, the way we are being extinguished from those competitions is not too good at all. You just have to get better so that we can always maintain our coefficient and also get some point and at least get all the slots that we need. Looking at CAF Confederation, where Enyimba lost by 2-0 against Al Masri over there in the city of Ismailia in Egypt. Now let's come back home and talk about some other sports. And this time around, we take it 3 in 1 in a row. We talk about cricket, we talk EFC, that's fight, and also we talk about Adoba Handball League taking place in Lagos. Let's start with cricket, where as we speak right now, a good one, even with a game to go, Nigeria picks 2026 African World Cup qualifier ticket. That's a good one there coming from our cricket team for men. They were able to defeat Sierra Leone by 29 runs, and that's a good one. Now they will be playing against Botswana today, and as it is, despite having to play one more game, Botswana also, they've qualified. They picked that ticket to qualify for the 2026 African World Cup qualifier ticket, where they will play in the qualifier. But right now, our team, the Yellow Greens as they call them, looking at their jersey alone speaks volume. Yellow Greens have been able to pick the ticket, defeating Sierra Leone in that game. Joseph is getting, at least this is a sport that we are not too accustomed with when it comes to, if you want to compare us to the likes of Kenya, Botswana, Sierra Leone, or this or Uganda. But stylishly, Nigerian Cricket Federation have been able to boost this sport and is going places.
Yes, there's always the first time to something, and there is always the opportunity for one to integrate and develop in any kind of sport in this world. I don't believe a particular sport belongs to a particular, group or a country, because as long as you have the facility, as long as you have the interest, then there are people that would want to, train in it and actually do well. So whenever this particular game is talked about, Nigeria is not mentioned, but who says we cannot put our own map, we cannot put our own self in the map of the world when it comes to this particular sport. So it's nice to see that they are making strides. It's nice to see that they have qualified for this competition. I hope they make it. I hope they make the most out of it, and I hope the federation also kinds of try their best in terms of grassroots development of these kinds of sports, because that's the only way forward. When you have grassroots interest, that's when you get to have good professionals, and you get to participate in wider competitions, and then you put yourself or you put your name on the map of the earth, being known for a particular sport. So that's what they need to work on. As for those that are going to the World Cup, we wish them the very best, as the Nigerians they are.
Anyway, it's actually the qualifiers. It's not as if we have qualified for the World Cup yet, so they still need to do more. But right now, they've been able to make it to the countries that will be getting that nod. Now, from cricket, let's talk about EFC Championship. This is the version of women, and we have Nigerian policewoman who did well by being able to defeat South African Dana Van Wyk of South Africa there. She actually did well. Right now, she is the EFC Women's Bantamweight champion. Juliet Chuku. Looking at her, you see that she's really built for this particular sport, and she deserves all the accolade. As we speak right now, she's the third rated when it comes to this sport in Africa professionally. So congrats to Juliet Chuku for being able to win this EFC Women's Bantamweight. You watch all the AFC, the UFC, the EFC, and you look at Nigerians really growing well in this sport of combat sport.
It's very nice to see them grow in these kinds of sport. Accolades and a lot of honors goes to this particular woman and what she has been able to achieve. But my interest is in the, where she came from, where she started, where it all started in the, she says she, back then I used to know about, these games that happen nationally. And a lot of, talents are being gotten. Then, I don't know, it doesn't have the publicity it used to have, because then we used to know it's happening, but not anymore. But clearly, maybe there's something like that going on. But that would be a lot of, that would bring a lot of good to, to the sporting sector of this country, if that game would be looked at by the right officials and, being, organized in a more, broad manner, and then maybe the publicity of that sport, that competition, rather, it's enhanced. It will really help, because back then, while we're growing up, we always knew about it, that so something like that is happening, and then a lot of stars were made from there. I can remember one, which is Julius Agahoa was gotten out of that kind of competition, and look how far he contributed. Look how much he contributed to Nigerian football.
Well, from the way it is right now, we're talking about the EFC Championship. Congrats to Julia Chuku for being able to win our fight against Anna Van Beek of South Africa in that encounter. Right now, she is the third rated when it comes to African in pro of this particular EFC fight. Congrats to her, and congrats to Team Nigeria in cricket. For men, they call it the Yellow Greens, being able to pick up the ticket to qualify for the African World Cup qualifier that will be later. Well, from there, let's talk about handball. Handball league, the phase 2 is actually happening in Lagos, and we have teams that are participating in the phase 2 of the Adoba Handball Premier League 2024 phase 2. To Marine Safety Babes leads on day 1. It's going to be a marathon of games for the next 8 days, and right now all the teams are really fighting, because this is the phase 2. This one has actually ended. They are looking at the second stanza of this championship, and the teams have started doing so well. Let's look at the result for both the female and the male version of games played yesterday. Bende Dynamos, well, they lost against Delta Queens when it comes to the women version of this Handball Premier League, 18-34. While Safety Babes, the team from the FRSC women, they defeated Rivers Queens by 36 to 27. The Venda Babes, 34, defeating Rima Queens of Sokoto. Rather, they lost by 2 goals to Rima Queens, who won by 36-34 to defeat the Civil Defense women's team. Seasider Babes 27-27 against the Chief of Army Staff Babes. It was a draw, while Plateau Peacocks, they won by extra 2 points ahead of Imo Grasshoppers. I still don't know how Grasshopper wants to beat Peacocks. what the name that they bear. Anyway, for the male, Adamawa Warriors, they actually walk over the conference out of Kogi, because they didn't play that game, they didn't show up. And Lagos Seasiders, they won by 19-17 against Kano Pillars. Niger United 34, Sunshine Kings 22. Correction Boys, the team from the Correctional Boys, that's the team. They lost against Marine Academy, who won by 35-27. While Safety Shooters, the male team, defeated Benue Buffaloes by 18-33. While the Defenders lost against Rima Strikers 23-32 in the male and female match day 1 result of the phase 2 Dover Handball Premier League. Well, Joseph, just quickly, you look at the names they bear, fantastic names. Benue Buffalo losing against Safety Shooters. What did they use to kill them? That sport can be so interesting when you look at the result of those games, Joseph.
I was expecting you to actually mention that Benue Buffaloes to me, and I was kind of, expecting you to also mention the one of Kano Pillars, and both teams actually lost. So, but this is a good thing that's happening, and I really do not have a lot to say about this kind of competition. But one thing that I know for sure it helps is the fact that it helps, in garnering all the right players that would represent the country in handball competitions, be it in the Olympics or any isolated competition. So I hope that the project or the competition, produces a lot of players that will help us, nationally and win laurels for the country.
Looking at the result of day one of the games played in Lagos, day two will also be all for grabs today. We'll continue to bring you more updates when it comes to the Handball Premier League taking place in Nigeria. And really, this sport has really done well. A lot of talented handballers have been able to represent Nigeria under 19 for both male and female. We have the senior national team all doing well. At least kudos to the Nigerian Handball Federation for being able to do this. Handball Federation are really doing well. HFN, kudos to all of you, especially the leadership of that particular federation, trying to see how they can propagate the sport of handball better in Nigeria. About 4 different sports are really doing so well. You can't take anything for volleyball. You look at handball, you look at badminton, they're also doing so well. And also, well, the beautiful bride, football. Well, we just hope that the beautiful bride will also take a cue from these. All these teams, you won't be surprised. Anytime Nigeria is playing for handball teams, they have to look for funds to go out. Nigerian Wrestling Federation have to look for funds to go out for competition. Hopefully this time around it will be different, since we have Sheikh Diko and Bukola Olakpade at the Head of Affairs of NSC, that's National Sports Commission. Hopefully things will turn around now. Attention will not be on football alone. You want to agree with me, Joseph, right?
Agree with you very well. I'm very, very much happy, with the appointment of Diko and what he has been able to achieve so far on the side of football. Now he needs to look at the other side of of the other sporting activities and put equal effort as he has given to football. The attention he has given to football, he should also pay to this insights. Maybe we would have a lot of dividends, and maybe we would have a higher number of medals comes Olympic games and any other competition. It should do us a lot of good. But so far, their leadership has been nothing but awesome and great. We appreciate them. We just know that they can do better, and we hope that they get to do better, and that all these other sports also get to benefit from the current growth that is happening to Nigerian sports.
Hopefully everything will go better now that we have NSC at the Head of Affairs, and also to see how they can run Nigerian sport when it comes to athletes' welfare, when it comes to infrastructure of all these sports, and also looking at how they can get the best hand to run our sport. Sport, as we always say, is real business if it's really, really well administered. But the way we see sport in Nigeria is just mere fun, but which is not supposed to be. It ought not to be. We just have to take it serious. A lot of nations across the globe are really thriving through sport. We need to get it done rightly, and before we know it, we have all the human capacity to do well when it comes to this particular sector, and it can add a lot of value to our nation. Aside that, let's go to the big one that happened yesterday, and also on Tuesday. It's going to be 2-in-1, day 1 and day 2 of the UEFA Champions League, where Liverpool, they show Real Madrid how football is actually played. Well, maybe they are really missing. They are missing the man that's called talking about Vini Jr. Although talking about Liverpool versus Real Madrid, even before we talk about the result, well, what the match that happened yesterday. But right now, looking at that result there, well, that's day 2. Let's have day 1 first, so that we can take it from the bottom to the top. Let's have day 1 result quickly. Okay, good one there. We have on day 1, it was a fantastic performance from AC Milan defeating Slovan Bratislava. Atletico versus Sparta Prague, 6-0 coming from Atletico. Barcelona defeating Brest 3-0. I have to give it up to Lewandowski. You look at Bayer Leverkusen versus Red Bull Salzburg, 5-0. Bayern, they beat PSG by a lone goal. And you look at RB Leipzig against Inter Milan at San Siro, also 1 goal. And you look at Man City, they blew it. Yes, they blew it. 3 goals they were leading. Feyenoord came back stronger, and they were able to equalize. In fact, they couldn't believe their eyes. Well, we talk about that. Sporting CP, Arsenal show Man City how they can defeat Sporting. It was a fantastic performance. Sporting defeated Man City with wide margin, but Arsenal showed their class. I'm sure you'll be smiling about that, Joseph. And also, young boys against Atalanta. Without Ademola Lookman, they went on the trail of 6 goals against young boys. Atalanta showing why they are not young boys, they are really mature men. Now, that's for day one. Then the day two, that which is up, we look at Stuttgart against Red Star Belgrade, 5-1 in favor of Red Star Belgrade. They won their game. Storm Graz of Austria defeated Girona by a lone goal. Juventus versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa having the secret of how they cook the soup of UEFA Champions League this time around, playing goalless at the Villa Park against Juventus, the old lady. That's fantastic. You have Lille defeating Bologna 2-1. Celtic 1-0 against Club Brugge of Belgium. Dinamo Zagreb of Croatia, they lost at home against Borussia Dortmund 1-3 goals. Real Madrid, yes, as I actually mentioned it, 2-0. You have to give it up to Liverpool for being able to do it. And Monaco, 5-goal thriller against Benfica, the team from Portugal. They showed their class, came, saw, and conquered Monaco 3-2. While PSV, they actually turned the table there. Well, they didn't agree. They won against Shakhtar Donetsk by 3-2. So, Joseph, let's start with that. Maybe we should go back to the old format that we have there. Well, Joseph, looking at what happened, let's pick maybe two games from day one. Attention, Man City, and then we look at Barcelona and maybe Bayern. But Man City, what do you think? What went wrong? They were leading 3 goals. Is he still on that particular losing streak? Although they didn't lose this game, but I will earmark it to be like a loss. They got a point, but that's not what they wanted. And still, the injury still continues to pain them.
Yeah, I know you would agree with me that, Man City are kind of ravaged with injury right now. But then you look at it closely, you begin to think even this set of players should be able to see out a 3-goals lead against such, mediocre club like Feyenoord. But after scoring 3 goals, then Pep Guardiola goes ahead and, makes a sub and brings on, 2 particular players, taking 2 players out, Nathan Ake, and I can't even remember the second player, Remo. Then everything just went south. Panic station started. Before you know, Guardiola have made a mistake. And okay, fine. These big teams actually gets to, score 3 goals against an opponent. And when the opponent gets 1 goal back, then okay, everything is fine. Everything remains normal. It's just 1 goal. And they control the game. They manage the game till the end of the game. That's what we know Man City for. Not this panic that begins to happen, at the defense, and before you know, a team like Feyenoord comes to the Etihad and gets to put up that kind of comeback. That is very, very poor from this side of Man City, not minding the injury that is ravaging the team right now. But even the injury is kind of expected. They have gone on 2 seasons at a stretch, doing wonders, playing well, playing, a lot of games. So it's not so surprising that after such amount of games coupled with, the recent, Euro performance, these players will get tired. They are not machines. Their system, their muscles would have issues. That's just what is happening to Man City right now. Diaz is not available. Rodri is not available. De Bruyne just got back into the team. Doku is out of the team. A lot of players are out, and right now the ones that are supposed to come in and even do a makeshift for them, people like players like Kovacic, is also missing. Now, Kovacic would have kind of helped, reduce the amount of, job that is needed, that Rodri is actually needed for. And he is not available. So a whole lot of, factors are coming together to kind of subdue Pep Guardiola and his boys. But then I am quite sure that, they would try their best and qualify to the next round of the Champions League, unlike Madrid, whom I am not so confident about.
Seriously. Before we go to Madrid's game, let's just touch on Barcelona did well by being able to win 3-0, and also Bayern won against PSG. This is actually getting better for them. And the Inter Milan also won their game during match day. That's on Tuesday. Atalanta, they went on rampage 6-1. That team seems they need to watch out for Atalanta. Arsenal, your darling team, they also did well. What Man City couldn't do, they did it convincingly. They paid them back what they did to Man City. So Man City should be thanking them, right?
Man City come and thank us for what we have done. We've taken vengeance and we've even added a goal, for them against Sporting CP. Nobody was expecting it. Even we, the Arsenal fans, to be honest, we were not expecting it to be that easy. But the kind of control Arsenal had, that game was very, very, very so out of nowhere, out of the blue. So much control, doing what they want to do with the ball, and Saka, having it easy against the Sporting defense. And it wasn't just expected. I didn't expect that, but that this is football and this is Arsenal actually at their best. That's why anytime they are at their best, you can't help but to just be be so amazed by what they can be able to achieve. As for PSG, I don't know what is wrong with that French club. I just can't place my hand that this is where they are, or this is what they are going to be, or this is what they're going to be. You don't know what to expect from PSG. Of course, prior to the game, them going to Germany and picking a point against Bayern Munich was not possible as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not surprised. We all are not surprised. They have never really been, that European power they have always seek to be. They've bought the best players in this world and all that, but it has never really worked for them. And as far as I'm concerned, it's because they lack, competition week after week. They are playing against weaker teams in the league on every now and then. So therefore, when they come out there to where the big boys are, they tend to, become lacking. So that, as far as I'm concerned, that's what is wrong with PSG. So until the league on itself, grows more in standard, PSG would continue to languish. As those who are always expecting to win a European competition. When you talked about Atlanta are actually on a rampage right now. It's happy. It's nice actually. I'm happy to see them, do well like that, and are considered a formidable team going away and picking this kind of result. 6-0 is not small, amount of goals to score away from home, even without one of your best talismans. So kudos to them. Kudos to the team. Let's watch and see how far they go in the Champions League.
Okay, well, talking about that's on Tuesday. On Wednesday, games will also play, and we've seen the results there. They are being displayed, and now let's touch on it before we look at the table. Is actually in our archives. Before the table, let's look at this game. Big one, Liverpool defeated Real Madrid 2-0. Would you say, well, the absence of Vini Jr., yes, it's obvious that they couldn't do it, but this man, Mbappe seems not to be able, even the opportunity to be able to at least get it done. Well, he still blew it. Talking about that penalty and what's happening. So Mbappe to Real Madrid, the way it is with Manchester City, maybe injury or what?
Mbappe has not really found his rating for the past 6 months now. When I say 6 months, that's prior to Madrid transfer. That's prior to the European competition. He has not really, from towards the end of the season, kind of, even while playing for PSG, wasn't really doing well. If you look at how they were eliminated from that. From end of the season up to now. I don't know what exactly is wrong with Mbappe. I feel like his confidence is having a hit. And then coupled with the fact that he switched club, he switched country, which means that he will need some form of adaptation. It's all, culminated as the reason why he's having the kind of, performance he's having. Nevertheless, you cannot also forget the fact that Madrid itself are not where they used to be. The basic spine of Madrid, which is the presence of Toni Kroos, which is the presence of Toni Kroos is no more there. Toni Kroos is out of the team. The players, there's no Rodrigo, there's no Vini Jr. in this particular game. So the game is not exactly, with all the stars that wanted to be available. Even if they are available, you look back at the previous weeks where those players were available, have been, pulling it off anywhere like that. Last game they won it comfortably, but we could see from that game that if they were faced with a stiffer competition, they may not find it easy. So really, it's not just about Mbappe alone. It's all about Madrid. Last season, Jude Bellingham was, doing it and doing it very well. But look at what he has been able to, contribute this season. I'm sure you'd agree with me that it hasn't been a lot. So a whole lot of factors are coming together, to, kind of project why Madrid is finding it difficult and why they lost that game against Liverpool. But it's not just all about Mbappe. I believe it's a wholesome something, it's a wholesome, problem, it's an issue, and there is no better coach to turn things around than their current coach Ancelotti. So I just expect that he gets to find a way, to kind of, find balance for his team and make sure that they get to, qualify to the next round of Champions League, even though it's going to be very, very difficult. Although if you look at their opponent, their upcoming opponent, I think it's going to be Stade Brest and maybe Stuttgart or one of the German teams anyway. So they should be able to, pull that off and score and win those games convincingly and qualify for the next round through,
Joseph,
not direct qualification. But it's not going to be easy. It has not been easy, and it's not going to be easy for them continually if they keep putting up this kind of performances. And I don't want to make this about Mbappe alone. He is a World Cup winner. He has been, for country and club before, and I know what he can do. We all know what he can do. So I don't want to make this game about him.
Let's take our table place. Our time is almost against us. We don't have time at all. So let's quickly look at the table list so that we can wrap it up. Our time is all placed. Let's have it there. Well, from the way it is right now, Liverpool, they are top, back to the top after dislodging Inter Milan there with 15 points. Inter Milan are second on the log on match day 5 of the UEFA Champions League marathon race, I will call it. Well, right now, from 1 to 8, as it says, they qualify straight to round of 16. Liverpool, Inter, Barcelona, Borussia Dortmund, Atalanta, Leverkusen, Arsenal, and you have Monaco among the top 8. From 9 to 24, they are actually knockout phase playoff places. All the teams are there. Aston Villa to Bayern, to Milan, to Man City, to Real Madrid, who are just a point out of just 2 points out of elimination. Well, PSG are down in the 25th to 36, and if it ends like this, PSG are out of the consideration. That is, if it ends like this anyway, till January. They have 3 more matches to play in this league phase, where they will be determining the top 8 go straight, and you look at knockout, and you look at elimination. What's the way to go? Well, a very touching moment for the likes of Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich, Juventus, really struggling. Even Manchester City struggling among the top team. Atletico Madrid, Milan, among all the big teams, struggling down the bottom there from 9 to 24. But give it up to the first 8 so far. Monaco, Arsenal, Leverkusen. Although it's still open, anybody can still stay top there and anyone can go down. After all, it's between 15 to 8 or to 7 points between them. So anything can see within those 3 matches, 9 points can still be gotten from the team down, and they can dislodge the team up. They just have to continue to win if they are to remain there. But for Gunners, congrats to your team. They are still hanging on, standing number 7 there. Hopefully they will be able to make it. Well, Joseph Peter, I want to appreciate your time with us on the show. I believe that we'll be able to talk about different moments in the world of sport, from handball to cricket to EFC to MPFL, and also to the UEFA Champions League. Joseph Peter, we appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much.
It's always nice to be here. Thank you.
Okay, good one. Anyway, your jersey looks so beautiful. Thank you so much, Joseph Peter from Kaduna. And before we go, Chelsea and Manchester City are keen on Ipswich striker Liam Delap. They want to go for him, so it's going to be a big battle between the 2 teams for the 21-year-old striker, between Chelsea and Manchester City. Looking at that particular story there, they want to go for him, and if everything goes well, who takes this player between Chelsea and Manchester City? Well, if it's the town, they have to hold on to him. Well, we wait to see, because anything can happen in the world of football. That's it on the show. 360 Sport on Trust TV alongside Joseph Peter. We give you a lot of kudos to him for joining us from Kaduna there, and from the entire crew that has made this happen, from Trust TV on the show 360 Sport. Adeni Aji Shafe. Thanks for watching.